I am not dying in a war so Israel can stay a country. I will serve time in federal prison. If Trump dodged the draft, so can I.
Hello guys, welcome once again to AfriPost. I hope wherever you're watching us from, you're having a great time. Now, we have seen Trump engage in some rhetoric, especially in the global space, that really makes people wonder whether he has the cognitive ability to handle the pressures that come with being the president of the United States. We can't dispute it. America plays a major role in the global geopolitical space. And with that, it is required that the country has one of the most sane people as its leader. But then Trump comes with these ways that are a little bit unconventional. For example, he's been using social media to really talk about the state of war between Iran and Israel and give orders differently to different people. And I think for him, since he got to presidency, both right now and even in his first term, social media was his way of communicating to everybody. Now, we are realizing that this issue of Iran and Israel war has sparked a lot of controversies, especially among veterans and even among Americans themselves, because they're wondering, when our presidents keeps getting into uncalled for wars, into wars that are not really about us, will we be drafted to go and fight these wars? These are questions that most people are asking themselves. And most Americans are totally fed up by the kind of style Donald Trump is using in his leadership strategies. We have seen that when the Iran-Israel war began, Trump was a little bit showing some skepticism as to whether America will join them. But then in the long run, he decided to say that America is going to be part of this war, and they bombarded Iran with some bombs. Right now, we know there is a ceasefire that has been in effect for more than 1 day, and people are now afraid. Will they be drafted to be part of a war that has nothing to do with them? I want you to take a listen to some of the issues that people were talking about in this clip. Then we shall come back and share our thoughts in the end. Let's watch.
Hey guys, quick observation. Who do they think they're going to get to fight this war? Who do they think is going to enlist for this war? Right off, seeing how this country is treating its veterans. This is right after they've cut the benefits for the vets. This is right after they closed down the suicide hotline for the veterans. This is right after Trump signed another executive order saying that the VA does not have to treat Democrats or women or unmarried people. So who is finna get in a line to go sign up for a war for a country who's not going to take care of you should you survive that war? Explain, please. How is it looking at how this country treats its vets, which we've been watching now for the last 6 months plus, but this 6 months especially, with all of the something in my eye, guys. Sorry. With all of what we've seen on how these vets are being treated, how does that inspire anyone to want to run and sign up to serve this country, especially during wartime? You guys didn't think this shit through. You basically gave the middle finger to every person that ever joined the U.S. military. You basically gave them the middle finger, saying we don't give a F about y'all. We don't care if y'all live, die. We don't care if y'all get y'all treatment. We don't care. We don't care if y'all snap. We don't care if y'all lose y'all minds completely. We don't care. Now you think, after telling people that, after telling the actual veterans who have laid their lives down for this country, you think somebody's going to come behind that and sign up to go to a war? Are you stupid? Or are you just ignorant? Who's going to this? Because Iran has already started their retaliation. Iran has already struck one of our bases in Qatar. Iran ain't playing. And there ain't no punks. So this little so-called show of power Trump just did, it was a big dud. There is no report of radiation in that area, of radiation being released in that area. You know why there's no reports? Because there was nothing there. Just as his intelligence told us not 3 months ago that they were nowhere near having a nuclear weapon over there. So there's no radiation, meaning they hit nothing, because there was nothing there. Now you don't put us in this war after giving the middle finger to every vet out here. I'll never forget listening to that vet, that wife of that veteran. She was making a video because her husband had just came back from what he thought was going to his appointment to meet with his therapist, and found out while he was there waiting that they fired his therapist. I'll never forget the rage in that man's voice. I'll never forget the rage, the hurt, the frustration, and the completely I'm done in his voice. I'll never forget that. And if you think somebody else is going to sign up to go through what that man is going through, y'all probably would have wanted to think about that before y'all showed the veterans how you really feel about them. Now you have a war and you need bodies. Who do you think is going to sign up for what these veterans are already going through? Y'all lost y'all rabbit ass man. You lost your minds. I think y'all got a little too drunk on your power, because you was showing so many people you didn't give a damn about them. You forgot to remember you're gonna need these very people one day. But y'all didn't think y'all was gonna need anybody anytime soon. So y'all showed everybody how you felt about them, including the vets. So again, I'm just asking, who you think is gonna sign up for this war? You should have thought about that before. Because right now, the way I'm looking at it, go get all your Republican senators that want this. Go get all your Fox News hosts that are vibing for this. Go get all your administration, and all Trump's kids need to be in this war. Yeah, Barron on up. All of them need to be in this war. Go get Ted Cruz. And anybody else who's been pro, go get Lindsey Graham. Y'all get all them and take them up there. Take them over there with y'all. Because mine ain't going. That's just that on that. Mine ain't going. Y'all have a good one. Well, guys, looks like we woke up to being at war with Iran this morning. Yeah. The president of peace. The one who swore he was going to be the peacetime president, that he was going to end wars in 24 hours, and that there will be no more endless wars in the Middle East, has now bombed Iran for nukes that his own intelligence says they do not possess. And after the bombing, Iran announced that they hit nothing, that they had already moved the stuff that they targeted, because they knew Trump was going to do this. They moved it days ago. So, you put us in a war that we have nothing to do with. You lied, saying that they had nukes over there, when your intelligence says they're nowhere near building a nuke in Iran. That's what your intelligence said. Just like your intelligence told you Trump that Putin interfered in the election, and you lied and said he didn't. You sided with him. Not only did he put us in a war, he did it illegally. There's a process, a legal process the president has to go through to declare war, to strike another country. It's called the 50 USC. He's supposed to follow this protocol where he has to to contact the what they call the group the Eight, and that is the leaders of both parties, Republicans, Democrats, senators, and Congress. He only informed the Republicans. He broke the law. So now he went rogue, he broke the law, and he put us at war. And now we have to sit here with bated breath, wondering when the retaliation is going to hit. Because if you think Iran is not going to, retaliate, you got another thought coming. Not only that, Iran is going to have allies who hate the United States. There are Iranians in the United States as we speak. Is it great again yet? Is this the great part? Is this the great part, Trump supporters? Is getting what you want worth all this? Is your little funky tax cut? Is this worth the lives it's finna cost? Is this worth the blood that's finna be on your hands? Because the blood is coming. And it's definitely gonna be on your hands. Trump supporters running around hollering, make America great again. This is on you. You dragged us into another war because you dragged that man into that office. And let's not forget that Trump announced he did not want DEI in the services. He didn't want them in the military. So that means, since Trump, out of his own mouth and actions, how he has been wiping all traces of African Americans in the army, in the service at all, in the military. He's been wiping the database clean of any type of African American contributions. He's fired African American leaders in the military. So now you know what? You don't want African Americans in the service. So guess what? Not one damn African American should be going to this fucking war. Not one. Not one. Get your MAGA base. Get your MAGA base. You know, the one that's been chomping at the bits to pick up a pew-pew and go to pew-pewing. You got it now? And Iran, do us a favor. We ain't in on this. We ain't vote for him. We didn't want this. We ain't got nothing to do with it. Please aim carefully. Please target the areas appropriately. Please do not hurt innocent people who did not ask for this, who did not vote for this. Make sure, please, that you aim carefully. Because a lot of innocent people shouldn't have to die for a bunch of people who voted for selfish reasons and could not see the forest for the trees. So my people, yeah, they've done it this time. In just 6 short months, we went from hopefulness to positive outlooks. We went from seeing progress, slow but progress. We had a booming stock market. Inflation was coming down. And we had a really good candidate that could have really changed things for the better, even more so. But y'all didn't want that. You wanted this warmonger. So now, mount up, MAGA. Y'all want to make America great again? Mount up, get your butts on them planes, and head over to Iran, baby. Head on over there. Because he don't want my sons in there. He don't want my family in there, and they not going. They not going. This y'all battle. Just like we ain't getting out in them streets, we ain't getting in this either. Y'all, this y'all doing. So everybody, all the Trump supporters, including the 20% black men and the 7% black women, yeah, y'all can go ahead and mount up. Y'all can mount up and get ready to head on over there. Because he done put you dead smack in the middle of what's going to be, in my opinion, one of the most treacherous, bloody, deadly exchange the United States has had in a long time. Happy now? Is it great again yet? Y'all feeling great? Let me see how great you're going to feel when they start retaliating. Yeah, now MAGA's in an uproar. They're going, oh, we didn't vote for this. Yes, the hell you did. Now they want to, now there's some of them now want to, oh, no. Get them out. We need to get them. It's too late, baby. It's too late. It's too late. The bomb has been dropped. It's on and crack-a-lacking. So, when these reports start coming in about these attacks, I don't want to hear no tears. I don't want to hear any of it. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear jack. Because you asked for this. You put this in the office. You brought this into our lives. Suck it the freak up. Whatever it is. Suck it up. I don't want to hear it. I don't care to hear it. Guys, stay prayed up. Pray that covering over you and your loved ones. Because this world is going to hell in a handbasket. Thanks to Trump and his supporters. So, Trump supporters, may you have the life you deserve after this.
Hey parents, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. With the conflict in Iran and Israel, and with now U.S. involvement gaining momentum, and there starts to be whispers of war, I've thought of something I haven't thought of in a long time, like the draft and my 13-year-old son and this or future conflicts, including him and mandating him go to war. Now the draft is not active and there would be legislation required for it to happen. It hasn't happened since Vietnam, but it could happen. And I am a patriot. I am a proud American. I support our military, our veterans. My grandpa was a lieutenant colonel in World War II in the Army. But I sure as hell am not going to let my son go fight in some foreign war over ego, over pride, over oil, or whatever it may be. I'm curious, as a parent, what are your thoughts on this? Have you thought about this? Would you let your child go fight? How would you prevent it? Would love to hear your thoughts.
So I just want to share my quick thoughts about this situation in Iran. As you all know, Israel launched attacks against Iran without any provocation. This wasn't an act of self-defense. It wasn't preemptive. Israel simply engaged in an imperialist, militaristic campaign. That's all it is. But the bourgeois corporate media is basically trying to rationalize Israel's actions. And now you have the United States involving itself in this conflict. The United States dropped bombs on nuclear sites in Iran. And after Donald Trump launched those attacks against Iran, Donald Trump had the nerve and the audacity to say, now is the time for peace. So in response to this, Iran has decided that they are going to close the Straits of Hormuz. And, that's going to have a devastating impact on the economy. It's going to cause oil prices to skyrocket and all that kind of stuff. So this is the situation that Donald Trump has gotten this nation into. More likely than not, the Iranians are probably going to, retaliate. They're probably going to attack U.S. military bases and other U.S. targets and interests. All because Donald Trump was dumb enough to allow Benjamin Netanyahu to trick the United States to getting involved in this conflict. Donald Trump is a man who, talked about no more new wars and all this and that. He condemned other administrations for getting involved in conflict. He actually said that the Obama would get involved in a war in Iran for political purposes. All on Twitter, he had all these tweets talking about Obama's going to start a war in Iran. And it turns out that Donald Trump is the one that has done that. Donald Trump is an idiot. He allowed himself to be manipulated by Benjamin Netanyahu. For over 30 years, Benjamin Netanyahu's been saying that Iran is weeks away from creating a nuclear weapon. He's been saying this forever. And there's no proof of that. There's no proof at all that Iran is creating any nuclear weapons. There have been international inspectors in Iran. This is just a pretense to overthrow the government in Iran. That's what this is all about. They want, quote unquote, regime change. And this is a part of a long history in the United States. As far as the United States is concerned, the United States overthrew a democratically elected leader in Iran simply because that leader wanted to nationalize oil reserves in Iran. So they overthrew him and replaced him with a brutal dictator. While America talks about the need for democracy and all that kind of stuff, they don't care nothing about democracy. All they care about is installing puppets that will do their bidding and serve Western interests. And that's what they want to do. They want to get rid of the government there and replace it with a government that's going to be compliant to Western interests. And that's what this whole thing is about. This is absolutely crazy. Donald Trump has put the American economy at risk. He's put American lives at risk. You don't bomb a country and then right after bombing them say, now is the time for peace. That is absolutely crazy and ridiculous. No self-respecting nation would allow another nation to attack them and then fall back and bow down to the will of that attacking nation. There will be consequences for this. There will. Now American troops are in jeopardy. American lives are in jeopardy, civilians as well, because of this reckless, unconstitutional, unjustifiable, ridiculous, and crazy action of Donald Trump. He should have left the Israelis to fight their own battles. In fact, the United States needs to defund that imperialist, settler, apartheid state of Israel.
Now, listening to the questions that black lady is asking in the video, you really get the real picture of what is happening currently in the United States. There is a sense in which many young Americans do not want to be part of a war they know nothing about. And that is why most people are currently saying that Trump must tread carefully. We know that America, as claimed by many, has the strongest military in the world, but we don't want to get fighting in wars that do not concern us. For example, when Trump gave that speech calling Iran the bully of the Middle East, that isn't true. Many people concede that it is in fact Israel that is a bully in the Middle East. It has been provoking every Arab nation that it comes across. We've seen how it has engaged with Palestine. Even currently, while Iran war was going on, they were still bombarding parts of Gaza. So it's not like we are saying that Americans don't know what they are saying. There are a lot of things that people have to say about this war, and there is a sense in which you will have to agree with some of them, because whatever they're kind of putting out there truly reveals why they must be concerned. And if Trump is your president, with the irrational decisions that sometimes he makes, you could end up finding yourself fighting or being drafted in a war that fully does not even involve you. So, some white Americans are concerned about Trump's decision to involve the United States in the Israel-Iran conflict, primarily due to fears of escalating military engagement and its domestic repercussions. Trump's decision to authorize U.S. strikes on Iran nuclear facilities, as announced on June 21st, marks a significant departure from his campaign promise to avoid forever wars in the Middle East, which resonated strongly with his isolationist base. Many white Americans, particularly those aligned with the America First movement, feel betrayed by this shift, as they supported Trump for his pledge to prioritize domestic issues over foreign conflicts. Polls such as that conducted by Economist and YouGov in June 17th indicate that 60% of Americans, including 53% of Republicans, oppose U.S. military involvement in the Israel-Iran war, reflecting widespread unease about being drafted into a conflict perceived as distant and not directly tied to U.S. interests. This sentiment is amplified by influential voices within Trump's base, such as Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon, who have publicly criticized the intervention, warning it could entangle the U.S. in costly and protracted war. The fear of a military draft adds another layer to concern, particularly among younger white Americans and their families. Historical precedents, such as the Vietnam War, fuel anxieties about conscription, especially in the conflict viewed as not ours. The U.S. has not had an active draft since 1973, but the selective service system remains in place, requiring young men to register at 18. The escalation of the Israel-Iran conflict, coupled with Trump's deployment of significant military assets such as the B-2 bombers and the U.S. Nimitz to the Middle East, raises fears that a broader war could necessitate a draft to sustain troop levels, especially if Iran retaliates against the approximately 40,000 U.S. troops stationed in the region. Social media posts on platforms like X have amplified those concerns, with some users speculating that Trump's presidency could lead to young Americans, including white men, being conscripted for a war driven by Israelis' interest rather than direct U.S. security needs. This perception is heightened by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's push for U.S. involvement, which some see as a prioritizing a foreign allies' agenda over Americans' lives. Finally, there is a deeper ideological unease among some white Americans, particularly those skeptical of establishment narratives about the motivations behind U.S. involvement. They question whether the conflict serves broader geopolitical or corporate interest rather than American public. The narrative that Iran poses an imminent nuclear threat has been challenged by figures like Tulsi Gabbard, who argued in March 2025 that Iran was not actively pursuing a nuclear weapon, a view at odds with Trump's and Netanyahu's claim. This skepticism is compounded by distrust in institutions, with some white Americans fearing that a war could be used to justify authoritarian measures at home, such as curbing dissent or expanding executive powers, as warned in analysis like The Atlantic's. The combination of these factors, betrayal of the anti-war promises, draft fears, economic concerns, and distrust of motives, drive significant concerns among white Americans about being pulled into a war they see as disconnected from their interests. So that gives you a summary of what is in the mind of a white American who voted for Trump. They trusted that Trump is going to be the president of peace, as he has continued to call himself. So while he brokered a ceasefire and stood firm on it, we're waiting to see how long this ceasefire is going to last and whether Trump is going to fulfill his promise of being the president who ended war in the Middle East and ensure that Israel remained respectable to the nations around it. Tell me down in the comment section what you think about this. And if you're watching us for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel, like the video, and share. Thank you, and let's meet on the next one.